back, everybody. As you can see, I'm sitting in my driveway and I'm in front of my Plasti Dip BMW 335i. It's a 2007. And I thought I'd make a video about basically Plasti Dip kind of experiences, almost Plasti Dip fails, because I've had to do various things on a couple different cars, you know, with my brief experience with Plasti Dip. And I wanted to kind of share some of those tips with you. So it all started about almost 5 years ago now, when I did the wheels on this car. And I did this with rattle cans, and what it was about 5 coats of black, just regular Plasti Dip spray, black PDS, with a glossifier coat. And that was before they had like the glossy top coat, you know, those type of products and stuff. And it worked out great. This is the original dip. You might be able to see on this car that there's a few little peels and things like that, but for 5-year-old dip, that's pretty incredible. I'm going to redo it. I have some more black spray. I really like the look. It makes the car kind of more aggressive and everything. It was silver originally, the wheels and the body color of the car, but it's held up really great. Now, the first car I did was the Miata, and I did that a hunter green, you know, kind of going for like that British racing green kind of thing, and it came out pretty well. You know, it wasn't hard to spray. There was, you know, just a few minor issues that occurred.
Oh man, yeah, it's challenging to spray. I've got runs like on three panels. What happened there? I don't know how to fix this. So that's messed up. That's messed up. Oh crap.
But you know, we dealt with that, you know, just here and there. So the Miata had the Plasti Dip spray plus a top coat. And the top coat is thinner than the regular Plasti Dip, and it's a lot more difficult and more challenging to spray. And so when I went to do this car, I figured, hey, I'm going to save myself a lot of the difficulties that I had with spraying the top coat, with the runs and miscellaneous things that happened. And I'm just going to go with a regular flat finish on this car. Now, it is a metallic, pre-mixed metallic Plasti Dip spray. This is called the Blue Quartz on the car you see behind me, and it's got a mixture of some metallic flakes in there, and honestly I love the color. Never had any problems with the color itself, but did have some problems with basically the way I sprayed, potentially the way I prepped it, and that kind of stuff. And so we're going to talk about those today. Alright, so when you Plasti Dip a car, first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that it's completely clean. And by completely, I mean you need to make sure that all the waxes and stuff on the existing paint is cleared off, and you've actually maybe done some polishing, that kind of stuff, to get any kind of contaminants off of the paint. Maybe a clay bar process is good. And if you're going to do any touch-ups like clean any chips or anything like that, now's the time to do it. Plasti Dip will hide some things, but a deeper chip it will not hide. You'll see it through the Plasti Dip. Scratches, no problem. Plasti Dip's actually going to hide that. It's going to do a great job. So you can regenerate old paint, bodywork kind of thing with Plasti Dip because it conceals a lot of things, especially if you're doing matte finish. With the gloss, it's going to start revealing it again. The glossier it gets, the more revealing it will be, and you'll see those things kind of come through. But with a matte finish like this, it'll actually hide things like door dings. I have a lot of little door dings on here due to my son. When we have a 2-car garage, and when my wife would pull in, my son would throw open the door when he was, you know, 4 or 5 or something like that, and he kept hitting the car over and over again. Not hard, mind you, but it would leave these little marks. So I have a number of little minor door dings all along the side of here. So the flat definitely helps to conceal that a little bit. At some point I'll come back and do some paintless dent repair, you know, that kind of stuff, but I haven't had a chance to do that. So the prep is super important, and when I first did this car, actually let me back up. When I did the Miata, I used a just regular dishwashing soap, which is harsh, and people say, never use that on a car because it strips off everything. Well, that's what you want. So on the Miata, the prep went fine. I had no peeling problems whatsoever because I used like Dawn dishwashing detergent. Now with this car, I used the car wash soap, and then I wiped it down multiple times, mind you, but I wiped it down with a wax and grease remover and the Plasti Dip pre-dip spray. However, I found that that wasn't enough because I had multiple peeling issues on this car when I first sprayed it. So your prep is time consuming, but it is definitely pays to do it right the first time because you will save so much time as opposed to having to do a respray. It's just not even worth it. Just spend extra couple hours on the prep and doing it correctly. And so by prep, I mean full wash, wipe it down, make sure to dry it completely, and you may want to speed that up. You may want to use like a leaf blower or other kind of pressured air to kind of blow out the little nooks and crannies, get that water completely out of there, and just give it a whole day to dry, in fact. And this is why you want to let it dry fully, because a little bit, even though I blow dried it, little bits of water are going to come out of this thing for a while. So you want to get all that out of there. You're going to be wiping down all the surfaces, paying special attention to the door handles, things like that, and any kind of corners or things like that up against the body, where the body panels are next to each other or are along where there's weather sealing, rubber trim, that kind of stuff, and that's going to help you a lot with having any kind of issues. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is after it's wiped down and completely clean, then remove as much trim as possible. The first time I sprayed it, I did not remove the front grille on this car, and I didn't remove any of the trim that goes along the windows and stuff like that, and yeah, that was sort of a problem. If you can remove it easily, then definitely do that. Now on this car, I don't know if I can recommend removing the trim that's on the top of the windows and such like that chrome. If you can see over here, this thing is a little bent up, and this is the only trim piece that became sort of semi-damaged, but that was a huge issue. In fact, taking off the trim and restoring it was, back onto the car was a huge pain, honestly. Just because of the way BMW makes these rubber seals, and then the chrome trim pieces slide into a little channel, and it has to be just perfect. And if it gets bent in any way, it will basically pop right out. So I don't know if I can recommend it on this car to go through all that. However, that means your taping job has to be pretty perfect. Now, the next thing is then the tape. So you want to go around the entire car, make sure that the tape is very accurate, and you're using the right tape, in fact. You can use that blue painter's tape, regular painter's tape, for most areas. However, parts where there's curves and things like that, you may want to use a different type of paint that is more flexible, trim specific tape that is more flexible. And so you can see they usually come in a different color. It would be like a yellow color or something like that, and it'll say on the roll that it's for automotive taping or something like that, so you can make those little corners and all kinds of cool stuff. You definitely want the paint to be a clean line for the Plasti Dip when it's sprayed. So it needs to be able to have a nice line that you can pull off, in some cases when wet, so that you can maintain that clean line. The clean line is also super important to alleviate problems with peeling later or lifting, because if any water basically gets in underneath the dip, if the adhesion isn't perfect or right along that edge, then that's what's going to cause lifting and cause a lot of problems. So on this car, the main problems were I had some lifting in a variety of places, which points basically to my prep work. And so around the gas filler door, there was some peeling on that the first time around. There was some peeling down along the the corner of one of the back windows over here. And so what I decided to do after all that was I decided to peel a number of the pieces. Oh, also on the front bumper, we can take a look at that. And so if you've applied the product correctly, peeling is no problem whatsoever. If you've got enough coats on there, and it's not really so much about coats, it's about the thickness of it. If the thickness is correct, then peeling it is really no big deal. So I peeled the doors, I peeled both bumpers. Oh, and of course the worst peeling was back in the trunk. That started lifting almost immediately. And that was really, made it look, the whole job looked really trashy. So that was my biggest fail right there. That just started lifting pretty much immediately. So once I got all that peeled, I wiped it down. I didn't peel the whole car, mind you, but I wiped everything down, and you are able to spray just fine over existing Plasti dip. In fact, it'll just make it thicker, and it'll make it easier to remove in the future. So when you're peeling Plasti dip, it should come off in one big sheet. If it doesn't, you can use some solvents like xylene or something like that mix, or there's a special remover that dipyourcar.com sells, Plasti dip remover, which is a little bit less harsh than straight xylene. And you can basically spray that on, it'll dissolve it, and you can wipe it down with a microfiber towel. Now that microfiber is going to be trashed by the end of it, but no big deal, just throw it away. You can also use the microfiber towel trick anywhere in like the in-between panels, like overspray that went between the doors, something like that, just to kind of clean it up, give it a nice line at the end, so that when you open your doors, it doesn't look stupid, you know. So once I got everything peeled, the other key thing, especially another fail that I did the first time I sprayed this, was although the buckets of spray looked identical, when even right next to each other, they were not 100% identical. And so I failed to mix all of the dip together first before spraying it. And so that is really critical when you have like a metallic flake inside of the dip, and when you're wanting to spray and have a consistent coating, then you have to mix it together. And so it looked like it was the same, it was not. And so what I got was on several panels some tiger striping, not because of coverage, but because the dip was just a little bit different color. Mixing it together completely fixed that. So just get a big 5-gallon jug or something like that, the bucket that you can mix it together in. Mix everything together. When I resprayed, all that tiger striping went away. My technique on the spray was not horrible. That's actually pretty easy to master. You can do that, just with some practice sprays. Watch the videos. That's super helpful that are on YouTube from Dip Your Car. See how Fonzie sprays it, and you can really get a feel of what the speed is, how to set up your gun, all that kind of stuff. And you'll have no problems with the spraying part, especially the dip. The top coat's a different story, especially on horizontal or vertical panels, like on the doors and stuff. That's where you typically will see runs. So that requires a little bit more practice. So I'd recommend doing the actual practice before you get your top coat down. All right, so I thought I knew I had everything down, and I knew what was going on, what was up. I was starting to get my experience good, but I ran into some issues with really just one part on the second respray of this car, which was the door handles. The door handles, when you have to spray the door handles, and on this car it looks stupid if you don't spray the door handles, but so I had to do it. But if you have a choice where it's like chromed or something like that, and you don't have to spray the actual door handles, don't do it. There's no reason to spray them if you don't have to. Like if they're black or they're chrome or whatever, and they're going to go with your paint scheme, your color scheme, then don't do it, because that's a high traffic area, and it's really easy for that dip to peel up with a lot of traffic and stuff like that. Also, it's difficult to get the right level of coating on some of these surfaces, such that it potentially, unless your prep is like perfect, then it can start lifting because of the weird kind of concave behind the door handle. And so that's what happened to me. I thought I hadn't sprayed it quite thick enough, the first time. So the second time I went back, sprayed it a bit heavier so there's more of a coating on there. And what happened was, because it's rubberized, it kind of pulls together of itself. So the concave portion of it started pulling off of the door because it had more strength and tenacity in terms of how thick the coating was. I think that's what the deal was. So that, combined with possibly the lack of adhesion of that concave surface, made it so that it started lifting. So I went back and had to respray behind the doors, and I just kind of went through and just touched it up real quick. It's a really poor coating, just barely enough to give it coverage. Not the proper amount by any means, but at least it looks okay. And then the second thing you want to do, if you have to spray the door handles, is get you some clear vinyl tape. And you can buy this specifically for Plasti. I bought it from an online vendor that also does pigments and stuff. I forget the name, but I can leave a link in the description. But you put that on the back side of the door handle, and that will prevent it from peeling up based on all that hand traffic, grabbing your door and stuff. No matter how careful you are, it will happen eventually if you don't have that on there. So, like I said, if you don't have to spray the door handles, don't. Definitely. So, once you've done all that, you mix everything together, you spray it down, you should have basically a clean job, no tiger striping, a decent product thickness, and it should be okay. It's just a question of practice after that. So I've now done 2 cars, sort of 2.5 cars I'd call it, just because of having to respray this one, basically half of it, and respraying maybe a quarter of the other, the Miata, because of some runs that I had on one door. I resprayed the door and rear quarter panel, so a quarter of it. But now I feel pretty confident in my technique and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm doing next is my wife's SUV. Now her car is black, so I'm going to leave the roof black, and then I'm going to be spraying the rest of the car. And on hers, it's fairly easy to remove a lot of the trim, so I'm going to do that. The prep should be awesome. I'm going to spend a lot of time on that, and we'll see how it goes. Now, it is starting to rain. It's kind of a wet day. It's in the 50s. So for Houston, that means it's the depths of winter. But I'm going to leave it with that. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you. I read all the comments, and thanks for watching. And please click to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We will be having the next Plasti video be on an SUV, so we'll see all the unique issues that may come up with that. It's going to be a metallic flake with a top coat. So we're going to cover everything on that. So stay tuned. Thanks a lot. See you next time.